obviously excited to be here. It's a great opportunity to be back in the NCAA tournament, and hopefully we can have some success here. Looking forward to obviously the first time ever in Toledo. Hopefully it's a good draw, and obviously we understand the opponent that we're playing, being a champion in the WCHA regular season, and I'm expecting that it'll be a very challenging hockey game.
If you've got a question, raise your hand, and the gentleman with the microphone will get that to you.
Just by the way, how many people actually write anything down for opening statements? Just thought I'd ask.
If for any of the players, if you would you talk a little bit about, you had that rough patch in January and have gotten it going since then. What has changed? What was the catalyst for getting you guys rolling?
I think the biggest thing was our ability to stick together in the locker room. Real close-knit group. We were able to work with each other, talk with each other, and just kind of battle through the adversity. At no point this year did we turn on each other or lose any of our belief in each other, and so I think that and our hard work brought us out of that slump a little bit, and we continued to play better and better hockey.
Anders or TJ, for not making the tournament last year, and you show up here now, do you have a different appreciation of being here and what it means to be here and getting here?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think you realize, especially as you get older, I'm sure Sam could attest this, is you only get so many opportunities to win championships and make it to the tournament. And we obviously were on the losing side of that last year. We didn't make it. We obviously had a good run our freshman year, but we're extremely excited to be back, and we're looking forward to our game tomorrow.
And Sam, a little bit about St. Cloud State. They've obviously got a couple pretty talented scorers. From a defenseman's perspective, what do you see going into your game against them?
Like you said, they have a great offensive team, and as a defenseman, and speaking on behalf of the D-Corps, I think we just have to have really good gaps, and play these guys really tight. If you give them time and space to make plays, they're going to beat you. So I think just having good gaps and playing tough team defense in our D zone will be key.
At the CCHA championship, you guys had all four lines rolling pretty well. Do you feel comfortable rolling out any line out there, Coach?
Yeah, I do, and not every team plays four lines, but I think that always works to our favor as we approach the third period. I have confidence in all four lines, and I just think it makes us a better team. And I like the way our four lines are going right now, and it's just a matter of try to maintain or even elevate what we accomplished last weekend.
Coach, when you get into tournament play and you're seeing teams you don't normally see and on shorter time to prepare, are you able to how much do you game plan for a specific team, and how much are you just trying to get your guys to play their game and make your big players make big plays?
I think when you're anytime you're in a, from my international experiences, it's more important to focus on us than it is the opponent. Obviously, you do have to prepare somewhat for certain situations, whether it be face-offs or special teams. But as far as style of play or anything like that, really nothing changes for us. We just have to continue to execute the things that we do well.
Anders, I wanted to ask about Brian Russ. What has he meant to your line? It seems like he's not a guy that gets a ton of headlines necessarily, but he does a lot of things. How has that chemistry developed with him over the years?
Well, it's been Brian's an unbelievable player. He can see the ice. He can see me and Jeff out there, and he's worked so hard in the off season. He's come back absolutely flying around the ice, and he's just been on his game all year. I've been playing with him ever since we got here on campus, and just having the couple years of experience with each other has really helped. And his ability to find me or Jeff or find the defenseman has really, been one of the biggest reasons why our line has been successful. And on top of that, he's a great guy.
Jeff, you mentioned that St. Cloud State being a conference champion as a fourth seed. Can you just talk about this regional and the strength of the four teams in it?
Well, it could be the toughest regional, in my opinion. I mean, I know how good Miami is, and obviously Mankato, Minnesota State, and St. Cloud had great years. And obviously by the number of teams from the WCHA in the tournament, that would certainly indicate the quality of their league. So you have to respect what St. Cloud did in winning the McNaughton Cup. That's pretty impressive, and yet Minnesota State, they had a great year as well. So, we've got 4 high-quality teams in this event. It's unfortunate that, there's 2 WCHA and 2 CCHA teams, but especially for the CCHA with only 2 entries, it would have been nice for us to have been separated just so we had a better opportunity to get a team to the Frozen Four.
Coach, I'm sure with last weekend you got hit with this question a lot, but would you talk a little bit about seeing the end of the CCHA, especially with the amount of time that you spent in the league?
Well, I mean, I really felt it after the game. It's kind of sad to see that championship. It actually has dwindled over recent years as far as attendance, and because I remember in the 90s that building was jam-packed, and in the 80s, and it was such a big event that it made our conference special. I mean, we were one of the first teams to go to I think we were the first league to go to an NHL venue. We were first league to have a TV contract. Bill Began from the CCHA as commissioner really opened the door for college hockey in many ways, and certainly the CCHA. It was a great conference. We had representatives from the GLIAC, which Lake State was in, and MAC teams and Big Ten teams, and it was really the epitome of what college hockey's all about, to where a team from the GLIAC or the MAC can play for the championship against Big Ten schools. So, it's disappointing, and I enjoyed. I mean, my whole career was based on the CCHA, and I'm going to miss the opportunity to play in some of those venues, and the relationships you establish with some of the people in those schools is going to be a little bit harder to continue.
Coach, also a little more about your team. I mean, you have a lot of guys who've got tons of experience. I think if I was reading the notes right, you have 11 guys who've played 100 games in your program and your system. Will you talk a little bit about the advantages that gives you?
I think the biggest advantage is just chemistry and confidence. When you have guys that are that are close. I mean, this team has been impacted in a big way by the fact that we had such a huge freshman class 3 years ago, and now they're all juniors. We had 2 of them sitting up here, and that class, as freshmen, took us to the Frozen Four, and last year was a wake-up call for a lot of those guys, that had off years. And, I think that that experience of having gone through the highs and lows happens to every program, and our guys have certainly responded to it in a very positive way this year. And, I think that chemistry of the group is one of the reasons why, like Anders said, that we turned the corner in January. So, I rely on our upper class. Our senior class was part of that championship as well, and these guys have been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you go through those things enough, you figure things out, even as a coach.
Anders asked about missing last year, but as far as going back to your freshman there, is there anything you remember from back then that you take with you into this tournament and trying to help you out specifically?
Yeah, I think at this point of the season, any team can win. Whether it's one bounce, one power play, one penalty kill, anything like that. It doesn't matter what your seeds are at this point. Every team's good. I think we went in as a 3 seed and we just played our game and we were able to come out of that regional. So I think that's what we're going to take here. We can't overlook anything based on what seed we are or what we've done before this, because right now it doesn't matter. There's 15 other teams in this tournament that don't care about what we do or how we play. They care about themselves, and they're going to work hard in battle, and that's what we have to do.
Would you also, I know you haven't been in the facility very long, but an initial reaction to the facility, the ice, and things like that?
I think just just pulling in last night, I think everyone was really impressed with, how great everything is. All the locker rooms here are very nice, and, we're being treated first class. So, just to come here and, be in a new facility and, a big one, it's going to be nice.